Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi. So nice to meet you
Yeah, you too.
via Zoom.
Better
Yeah.
English or German? What do you prefer?
English I would prefer English.
Yeah,
Is
no
it all right for
problem.
you?
Yes, of course, of course.
Okay.
Fine.
So you're in Dresden at the moment.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And where are you originally from?
I'm from the Ruhrgebiet, which is in Nordrhein-Westfalen, and
Yeah.
that's more in the middle westish, northernish part of Germany.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it was the opera that brought you to Dresden.
Not really. My husband brought me to Dresden
Oh, I
because
see. Okay.
He works here. He's the artistic director of the Semper 2, which is the small venue of the Semper Opera House
Oh, I
for
see.
contemporary art, contemporary music theater,
Mm.
contemporary dance, youth
Oh,
theater.
okay. Yeah.
So he's doing that. And
Mm.
yeah, once I got completely solo and freelanced,
Yeah.
I decided, to, of course, to move here
Yeah.
to be together.
Yeah. Yeah. So now how did you experience the lockdown there? Because you're freelance.
I'm freelance. So I am probably not the best person to talk to about lockdown or shutdown
Mhm.
traumatized
No,
because
but it doesn't have
I,
to be.
I was really extremely lucky. I call
Yeah.
myself extremely lucky
Mm.
because I'm working mainly in the contemporary music field, but
Mm.
I am embedded in so many different kinds of projects
Mm.
and fields of
Mm.
music that I lost some really big things
Mm.
in which my heart was, and it was really bleeding to
Mm.
lose those. But at the same time, many other things popped up immediately
Mm.
because in the contemporary music field, especially, so many venues, organizers, musicians are so creative anyway
Mm.
and used to react extremely
Mm.
flexible to new circumstances, to surprising circumstances. And
Mm.
so in that way, I was so lucky because many of them immediately shifted to digital forms of presenting the
Mm.
festivals. Some didn't.
Mm.
And it was a time where I I learned to know some
Yeah.
people from other sides, or I learned to know other sides of that character.
Yeah.
So there are people and organizers who just pulled out completely, like hands open. Oh, I can't do anything.
Mm.
They just abandoned us, artists. They didn't even try to make any payments, any
Mm.
attempts to shift to, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And some others did exactly the opposite. They realized much earlier than even I did what
Mm.
it all meant.
Mm.
And they tried everything they could to help us and
Mm.
to convince politicians um, to pay the artist and to still uh, give away the money that they had planned
Mm.
for certain arts and events,
Mm.
so that they could find new ways and new forms.
Mm.
So
So were these organizers of certain events, or were these managers, or that you're talking about now that could help you?
so basically the theaters, the big opera houses, couldn't
Yeah.
do
Do
much.
anything? Yeah.
They had to follow the government's rules.
Mm.
And so they were completely dependent on the decisions of the government and
Mm.
the departments there. I'm talking about the the underdog, uh,
Okay.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
underdog department. So like
Yeah.
festivals for contemporary music, for lead concert series with that were not funded by governmental money.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. So, so that in that sense, there was a bit of freedom for you to still do that, to still
Yeah,
do these events.
yeah. So
Yeah.
my lockdown took place from March to June last year,
Mm,
and I was very happy to use those 4 months
mm,
to do something different than I did the past 40 years. So
mm,
I drew and wrote a children's book
mm,
um, about basically about neo-Nazis. A little boy grows up in a small town surrounded by
mm.
neo-Nazis, but it's all packed in a metaphor that works for children and young
Okay.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, because when you live in Dresden or in Germany or in Europe or anywhere in the
Yeah.
world, this is a big issue, right?
Mm,
So the very reactionnaire, the very like old-fashioned
mm,
nationalistic view
mm,
of the world, which yeah, which we have to fight against at the
mm.
moment.
So was this book something you thought about before, and then when this situation came where you had the time, did you then think, okay, now's the time to do it, or was it something that was born out of this time?
No, this was in the back of my head for
Oh,
10
okay.
years.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when this nationalistic tendencies
Mm,
popped up everywhere in the world, like in yeah, basically it never disappeared since the
mm,
Second World War. It never
mm,
disappeared completely. But when I grew up in a Germany that thought we would never ever have
mm,
to fight against a party,
mm.
a nationalistic, demagogical
Mm.
party
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the AfD ever
yeah.
again. We
Mm,
thought we had overcome things like
mm,
that.
mm,
That's how I grew up. And then 10 years ago, it all started building
mm,
up. And then, yeah, we've seen from Belgium and Holland to Hungary
mm,
to everywhere. Marine Le Pen in
mm,
France. Then, of course, the whole Trump issue in the States and
mm,
Poland,
mm,
everywhere. This is
mm.
a big thing, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And this is just such a stupid, superficial problem that people uh, should be able to deal
Mm,
with their ratios, and
mm,
we should focus on the real problems like
mm.
climate change and also, of course, at the moment, the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to do this book because obviously people cannot
Mm,
uh, deal with it.
mm. And then, so when you wrote, I mean, in this, when you use this time for, you say for the writing and for drawing as well, was also, are you in that? Is that also something that you normally do, like drawing and being creative in other ways,
Yeah,
just singing? Yeah.
no. Singing would be a bit too limited. I
Okay.
think.
So you, yeah. So
Yeah,
you like to do different things. So
yeah,
lockdown was really for you a very good time,
yes,
if I can, yeah, yeah.
yeah. It sounds horrible to say that, but for me
But many
privately,
people say that, many artists say that, that this was a time for a little bit of reflection, and also doing things that they normally didn't get time for. Um, and of course, when you are an artist, I think you need that quietness also, that standstill where you can then be creative and let your mind go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I also heard that from a lot of other people too, people who are not in the arts, that they very much enjoyed the first months of peace and quietness and the stop of the big economical machinery that makes them go round and round and round in self-destructive circles of being productive 24/7.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I also think the fact that, okay, there was online shopping, but we couldn't even, do that. So I think more families were together and spent time together and did things that really, the basic things, that's also very important to do. So now I hear that definitely, that some people were, of course, very disappointed because of projects that's been cancelled. But then I think when that disappointment passed, then it was this thing where you just can take a breath and just be a little more relaxed. Do you think now, after this time, so in the summer, did you have projects that you could do in the summer?
Some summer festivals that popped up. The Salzburger Festspiele, at least my opera was cancelled, but it was shifted, so it should take place this summer instead. Then I lost my debut at the Scala di Milano, which was really devastating. And who knows if when the Scala can reopen, with which pieces, and I'm pretty sure at the moment the economical pressure is so hard that they have to go with the broader public, and probably they cannot program contemporary pieces right now. So that's a shame, but that's life.
But don't you think now is the time to do that? To attract audiences and to do something different, maybe.
I'm the wrong person to ask this question. Of course, I think it. Of course. But my wishes or my opinion doesn't match with reality. So.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. I also live in the clouds, and not many people agree with me from there. But do you have this? Okay, so no. Let's stay with it. So in the summer you could do festivals, and then when did? And then you also had another lockdown in November.
Yeah, I was really lucky because from July onwards, I worked through.
Oh, okay.
Time. I came back from my last concerts just 1 week ago, or no, 5 days ago. So it was a mixture of festivals that released live streams in the internet or in the radio. I did CD recordings. I did radio recordings. I did rehearsals for projects that will come up later this year. So I think, like many people, I tried to make best use of the time. And and then, as I said, there were so many organized.
These streamings and these recordings, were they all organized by you?
No.
Okay.
None.
Oh, okay.
I was invited by organizers of festivals.
Oh, okay. So this
CD recordings were organized by myself. Yeah.
But and these streamings, they get broadcasted, and then you also have an income from that.
Yes.
Okay.
Because yet
Mm.
in Europe, the governments do give money to the arts.
Mm.
There is a regular
Mm.
cutting for art support,
Mm.
especially in Germany, in the
Mm.
past 30 years,
Mm.
has taken place.
Mm.
So we roughly, I know a couple of organizers who told me that at the moment, or let's say before Corona,
Mm.
they have to produce an output that is like double to triple the amount of what they had to do 30 years ago, but they have to do it
Mm.
with a sum of money that is reduced down to 30% of what they had 30 years
Mm.
ago. So it's not easy.
30%. I mean, that's more
50
than
to
half.
30%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The 80s were the golden times of
Mm.
classical music, of course, and also for contemporary music. And
Mm.
nowadays it's.
But what do you think is the reason that the cuts are in the arts? Um, why do you think there's that lost its value for governments?
I think it's a complex problem, but some of the reasons are that the generation of politicians that at the moment is ruling the world, Europe, Germany, has not grown up with consuming the so-called ernste Musik, the so-called
Yeah,
art,
yeah, I
theater
agree.
music.
Mm.
Yeah, they consumed more the popular arts,
Mm.
popular music. So let's talk only about the field of music because that's more or less my
Yeah,
field.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. So they cannot, naturally, they cannot understand the value of it
Mm.
because they never experienced that you go to a certain concert and your self and your expectations are not fulfilled, but you have the opportunity,
Mm.
the very valuable opportunity to meet something that you don't know.
Mm.
You're confronted with something that teaches, or that can teach you something about
Mm.
yourself that you didn't know before.
Mm.
I think that's one of the key values of art and of music as well. If you only go to listen to Bach or Mozart that you already heard a million times before, or you go to a pop music concert where you exactly know what you're going to get,
Mm.
you just want to fulfill a certain need for an emotional state.
Mm.
That's the cheapest way of consuming art. It will never help you nor
Mm.
society to learn something about yourself,
Mm.
to expand your horizon,
Mm.
to broaden your worldview, to learn how to accept that your point of view is not the point of view of anybody else. And
Mm.
that's one of the big values that art has, and that music or theater, music, theater, opera can have, and that contemporary music especially has. And from that point of view, this is the cultural value for society of art, of theater, of opera, of contemporary music is enormous, because it can help us to educate ourselves and to live more peacefully together, to meet strange events, strangers, with a more open mindset. That's the value of art. But at the moment, especially now in the pandemia, art is broken down to its economical value. In the newspapers, you can only read about art's value as a proportion of the BIP of the brutto inlandsproduct of a country, the nominal gross domestic product.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of a country. And it's true that we help for the economical growth of a country extremely. In Germany, the arts in general are on the first position in the country of growth. Before the car industry, before even the weapon industry, before anything else, the arts are proportionally the biggest growth factor. But that has nothing to do with the real social and cultural value of the art itself. And when politicians forget that, and when they will erase art, and if the TTIP will go through and countries cannot decide anymore if they will support financially their arts, that will be such a big loss. We will pay for it with billions because we have to do, I don't know the English word. When people get more aggressive, uneducated, when there is more conflict,
Yeah,
you have to pay for it as a country.
Exactly. Yeah.
With
So this is
programs.
I'm so happy you talk about this, because this is really what I'm also trying to talk about, and really I have a wish that this could be in a way, or that this could happen, that children are educated in schools in art as much as there are in maths and science, so that art becomes much more prominent subject. Because now that we're dealing with the pandemic, we also know that health is not about just about the science. It's not just about the medicine you take, or it's really about the well-being of the person, of the rounded, the wholeness of the person. And by meeting these artists in the time that I photographed them, and even the young artists, this is so wonderful to experience and to see, and how they just deal with this pandemic, and their self-motivation and their ability to overcome these things, their positive mindset. And I'm thinking, if I mean, this is what I realized in this time, and I think to myself, if we could teach children art in schools just for this, even if it's just for this fact, that you are such a rounded person when you study art, such a balanced mindset, and if they don't become artists, but that they can then value art, and that they can then have the love and the appreciation for artists. And I think I think this is really the important thing when we start doing this and start implementing this in the schools. I think we will also find a generation of then politicians that would think differently, about making cuts to art. And also if you look if I just look in Vienna, for instance, the importance of the theaters for Vienna's for the economy is, like you say, the theaters bring so many tourists, and these tourists buy and eat and live in this in the city when they come. And I'm very passionate for this fact that we should rethink the education system and give children this valuable education, and that is art.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I think maybe if we talk about this, that and I think also, like you said, that you understand it from an artist point of view, because you also, I believe that artists have a different mindset, a different way of looking at the world, and that you are the ones to talk about this, to argue this, that it's important.
Yes, it's our task. I think we have to take on the challenge. No, how do you say that?
Yeah.
And in Germany, the art teachings were cut down and down and down and down. And nowadays, opera houses, theaters try to replace the musical or the artistical education in schools, but they cannot replace a regular artistical education with projects. You need to be able to do it like every day of your life for the kids, like you learn how to write or
Exactly.
to count, or about something about physics or chemistry.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to learn something about yourself and how to be creative, or how to watch at things, all things in the world, with a curious, associative, creative mindset. That's what artistical education is about. With music, you can open your ears to hear complex, to learn something about a balanced cognitive, intellectual, and emotional being state of. And with visual arts, you can learn something about. You can learn through your eyes, and you can learn something about the very visible point of view of another person, so that your worldview is not the only one existing.
Yeah.
And with dance, you can move and experience your body, your physicality. You change your hormones, you change your mindset, you change your happiness. You can canalize all your thoughts and feelings into something. That's a very important factor in every person's life.
And for expression as well, I think for children to express themselves, not just by words, but by through art. If you see the work that has been done, for example, in autism, how they use art and how they use music, for example, also, and illnesses such as Alzheimer's, where music really stimulate the brain again. And if the science can prove that music, the frequency of music actually affect the cells of the body, then of course, you know, the importance of art is, and like you say now, movement has so many also advantages in brain development. So these things were all proven already. You know, it's not as if we have to start proving it. It's already proven. It has to be implemented. You know, it has to. It shouldn't be a half an hour lesson a week just to uplift children. It should really be full blown studying music, studying art. The interesting thing is, when art is this type of subject, you know, just a little bit of singing once a week, you know, or a little bit of dancing once a week, then children also don't take it serious. You know, they don't have enough time to really think about it or what they're doing. If I compare, for example, when I was young, I took piano lessons, and but my mum didn't enroll me into exams. So what I did was every week a half an hour lesson at this piano teacher, but I never did exams. So there were no pressure really on me to practice. They were, you know, there was no motivation really to do it. Yet my sister, she did also piano lessons, but she did the exams every year. And she could play so much better than I did. And even now, if I look at her life and or her way of dealing with things, and how she just you know, they live on a farm, for example, and she the creativity she has there and the things she develops there, and I do think it in a way it comes from this you know way or this contact she had with art, with music. I think it really has to do with these skills that you acquire by practicing, by doing the exams, and you know, and the success that you achieve, also the obstacles that you have to overcome. I think these things bring something to your life that you use afterwards as well.
Yes, also the brain of humans is has developed in such a way. We have these enormous, big, what are they called? Frontal lobes.
Yeah, yeah.
Which we developed because we were very successful with associative thinking. And doing art is like enforcing or encouraging this way of thinking a lot, exponentially. So it's not only about that you learn who was Bach and Mozart and how to read pitches and keys.
Yeah.
It's about how we deal with art in our brains and how can we connect different kinds of information and put them together in new ways and forms. This is a big value of art and artistical education. And it also connects the two parts of the brain, you know, in both directions, back and forth with all the synapses. And you can make use of that for the rest of your life in whatever job you will ever work.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you
I
become
also
a
see that. I see that with ballet dancers, for example, who retire at, say, the age of 40. Then they start new careers, but they so quickly become so successful in what they do. But it's this quality that they have, you know, to this work, how to figure it out and how to do it. And I think it comes from the dancing, from the years of you know, being dancers.
Yes, of course, dancers are the most extreme example of role models for people who learn to overcome frustration
Mm.
and to learn to be disciplined. So, and pain, yeah, they have to overcome pain daily. Also, as a musician, you learn how to be very disciplined and overcome frustration and enjoy to get better in something from the age of 2, 3, or 4 onwards. And this is also something that I make use of in all parts of my life, every day. So, yes, there are some politicians who acknowledged the worth of this. Obama, in the very last period of his presidency, tried to give and put some money in some artistical educational programs in schools and some studies that were made there. We can only hope that Biden will enforce this or renew these programs. I think America really needs all kinds of support. And in Germany, we have to be very careful that we don't cut off the last rest of artistical education. We have to really renew it, put more money in it. If the pandemia will be a long-term issue, and probably we should be prepared for it. It will not be over at the end of this year or next year. So we have to learn to use these tools that we have in different creative ways. And we have to reach out to the children there at the other end of the screen. We have to find ways to make them feel fulfilled and happy, and we have to activate their happy hormones, you know. Educate their balance system of as we said in the old times, heart and head, or body and soul, and all this.
But you know, I read somewhere that that the brain, our brain, and I can't remember what part of the brain it is, but it only reacts on giving. It only reacts when we give, and but not about the giving. It's about the receiving. It's how something is received. Our brain reacts on that, or this part of the brain. And I realized this from the artists as well, that you know, they give so much. Their lives is about, or their art is about the giving. It's about I think there's a misconception that it's that they have big ego. Maybe some have egos, but maybe they're allowed to have egos when they are talented and they've worked hard, and you know, they are brilliant at what they do. But I get this feeling that even though many artists in Europe have been compensated with money, and maybe not a lot of money, but you know, it's like they sometimes say, yeah, well, it's enough to eat, or I can get by, or I have enough savings to get by. But the thing that really makes them unhappy is the fact that they can't give, you know, they cannot do the music or sing, or it's almost as if they want this to do for the audience. And I know you said you've done the projects for streaming, but don't you also feel that missing part, the audience to whom you give this?
So for sure, it was very clear from the very beginning that many artists fell down in a huge dark hole of desperation. So that's why so many living room concerts popped up every day, everywhere, and so much of that stuff was with a horrible acoustic. It was not nice to listen to, not nice to watch, etc. So, but you could feel this need and this desperation.
Absolutely, yeah.
To reach out. Look, here I am. I have something to give.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What we meant, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I was extremely happy to have a stop, to have like a little sabbatical.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
4-month sabbatical.
Yeah.
And it depends. For instance, I am a person, I am very happy to perform only for one person in the room, or just for my
Okay.
colleagues. If
Yeah.
I can rehearse with other people, and just I know that my colleagues are people who understand what I'm doing. We have this connection, and we can we can exchange on many different levels what we are doing. We can do chamber music. Often that's more than enough for me. That's what makes me the happiest. Doing chamber music with my favorite colleagues. If the composer of the piece that I'm performing is in the room while I do the live stream, I don't miss anybody else. I don't miss
Okay.
any bit.
Yeah.
I'm super happy with that. On the other hand, of course, I just gave a duo concert with a clarinetist. We both worked for 1.5 years on this program. It was very difficult pieces. We put an enormous amount of work in it. And then to know that you do it only for a radio stream, nobody is there.
Yeah.
Nobody can applaud you afterwards so that you can feel
Yeah.
that somebody appreciated in this or that way. You never know what people really think or feel or understand from the stuff that you're putting out there. But applause or a little chat after a concert can help you to get the feeling, okay, there was some kind of connection. Yeah, that was hard. It depends.
So, what is your wish for when this is all over?
So first of all, I don't think that there is a when it is all over. I think that there won't be an it is over. So after what I read so far and heard from politicians and scientists, so my wish is that me and some colleagues, we can make good brainstormings, get the right ideas for our students to adapt to these new realities, and also that me and my colleagues, that we find ways to transport some of the and to transform some of the physicality of music into or over this two-dimensional screen.
Mm.
This, at the moment, I don't have any answer to that, because it seems to be impossible. Like physically experiencing sound waves
Mm.
and body heat. I don't know how you can really replace that, or
Mm.
transport that through a computer. But we have to find ways to, at least to a certain point, to transform oral stuff into visual stuff,
Mm.
so that people see something and are so interested and curious about it and entertained by it. Entertained meaning too curious to stop watching.
Yeah, yeah.
That they open their ears and listen more and more openly and carefully.
Mm.
I don't know how that can work yet, but we need to find solutions.
But do you also think that in situations where, even if it's not a big theater, even if it's a smaller theater, that you it's almost this um, touch, you really get this energy from the artist, and it's this vice versa, giving and receiving of energy, that's not possible over a screen, over, so even if even if it's not, the theaters are not totally filled, but that we really need um, that energy to be there for us, and for the audience and for the artist.
Oh, totally.
Mm.
It's not replaceable.
Mm.
And of course, I hope that theaters will be reopened in any form,
Mm.
and if it's only for 5 people in the audience.
Yeah.
So, and if you have to wait for half a year for a ticket, I don't know.
Mm.
I need it.
Mm.
It's my daily oxygen, usually.
Yeah.
Not It's my oxygen is not only that I do this stuff, it's also that I consume the stuff that my colleagues do.
Mm.
Because I'm not the most interesting thing in the world. The most interesting thing is the broad palette of
Mm.
all these impressions in the world, and of my colleagues' opinions and abilities, etc. Of course, I want everything to reopen,
Yeah.
but probably a big part of the art will, for a long time or forever, also
Mm.
transform into the digital world. And
Mm. Do you think that when we start talking about education in schools, of course, art education, you would need really good art teachers, really good musicians to teach children really to uh, you know experience the best of this subject?
like, I think every colleague has a different opinion about that.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't think there's any difference, and I think it's extremely important to teach
Mm.
children. And also, I love to work with children. Although I didn't have the opportunity now for a couple of years, but I did a lot
Mm.
before my solo career got very time consuming. So, but of course, it all depends on the, let's say, I don't know, the pedagogical talent of each
Mm.
individual.
Mm.
So not every great artist is a great teacher,
Mm.
and some great art teachers are bad artists themselves.
Mm.
So there
Yeah.
is no general rule for that, I think.
Mm.
But perhaps I can, just from my personal experience, I was very lucky. My parents let me go to a Waldorfschule, to an anthroposophical school, from my 7th grade to my baccalaureate, to my graduation.
Yeah.
And so the palette of education that we got there was extremely broad and wide and diverse, even in the arts. So we learned how to paint and how to draw in so many different styles with so many different materials, but we always connected different art periods or aesthetics with different periods of human history or of something biological or something from the geometry or from the chemistry. So this school system makes cross connections or
crossovers,
the whole time,
Mm.
which leads to very good results. I must say. So I profit from this education till this very day. And yes, and also our main teacher for our class, that who only had learned to teach German literature originally, and I can't remember what else. In this school type, the main teacher of a class teaches the pupils everything for a couple of times.
Okay.
For the first 7 years, he's responsible for your mathematical education, for German education, for like basically everything.
Yeah.
And he also sang a lot with us. So he every day we started the day with singing 3 songs. I still have connection, or we reconnected as a group with the class.
Wow.
And yeah, although it was annoying for some people, it deeply connected us. This, not the singing, but
yeah,
the whole bunch of things that really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was, I was lucky.
But Sarah, this was so lovely to talk to you now, and your wonderful insight and positive outlook about this time. And yeah, when will your book be published, or did you already publish it?
I published it as a self-publisher at the moment,
okay.
or till September. I'm having big problems with Amazon.
Yeah.
Because there are some formal things they can't solve, and I'm talking to hundreds of different people via email every day.
Oh, okay.
I hope to solve
yeah.
that soon.
But
and
it's done. You've done it, and it's now just the final red tape that needs to be sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Heine. In case you want to buy it, it's called Heine.
Okay.
You can order it. You can order it on my website.
Oh, okay. I will have a look. Okay. Sarah, thank you so much. And whenever you are in Vienna, please write me. I would so love to meet you. Yeah, in real.
Yes. Thank you so much for talking.
No, that's
thank you that you're doing this project.
Thank you. No, I feel very passionate about this project, and I've met these wonderful, wonderful people that really touched me so much. And I only I only have a camera. I cannot do much, but I think, you know, if in this way, through the pictures I see a way of starting a conversation and also now with Zoom. I mean, I didn't plan it, but I just wanted to know more about what goes on in the rest of the world, because I've spoken to many artists here. But in this way, I think it's a voice, it's a way of talking about this. And I do believe in energy, and I do believe that the more we talk about solutions also, you know, that there's a possibility that something can happen and something can change. So yeah, I don't do much. I just post the pictures, and I will post this conversation if you don't mind. If you don't mind me making it public.
Yes, of course. If you tag me and my Facebook page or my Instagram channel, then
Oh,
my press team will publish it as well and
okay.
repost it.
Okay. I will put it on YouTube, and I will let you know. Yeah.
Super.
I have a little channel there, so if you want to listen to what the other artists were saying also, then you can listen. Some very wonderful insights as well from other people.
Yeah. I think it's great what you're doing. We all do our bit, and we're all small parts in this
Small
huge
part,
puzzle.
yeah. I think if everybody just do something, then of course we can make a change. Yeah. Sarah, have a lovely evening.
You too.
Okay.
And good luck. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you. And
Stay
thank you.
healthy.
Good luck with your book as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.